Welcome to the Greatest Story Podcast with your hosts, Zac
and Josh.
We are here to discuss and react to some of the greatest stories ever told. We will look at books, movies, video games, and all forms of storytelling to figure out what makes a good story and what are some of the greatest stories.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, we have some people we'd like to recognize for joining us on this path of great storytelling. Our Pathfinders, starting with Pathfinder Champion, Paige S., Pathfinder Commodore, Peggy B., Pathfinder Captain, Joanna B., Pathfinder Cadet, Kirsten, Pathfinder Cadet, Lauren. You guys are champs. So, you know what rhymes with champ?
Alien.
I was going to say chomp, but
okay. Sure.
Yeah, alien. That just sprang out of nowhere.
Wow, almost like
it popped out of your chest cavity.
Yeah, terrifying.
So I guess before we go anywhere, we should probably say this is for a movie not suitable for young children.
Yeah, or even some adults.
I mean, like, if you're into jump scares...
Yeah, you gotta be into
jump scares,
jump scare thriller.
And or space.
Yeah, but not and or space. But
yeah, well, I mean,
space.
And or's kind of spooky sometimes.
Yeah, but not like stuff jumping out of your chest.
Yet. Not yet.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we're talking about what today, Zach?
We're talking about Alien, but not the first one,
Nor
newest
the second one.
Yeah, the newest one, Alien Romulus. Yeah, there's technically like, what, 4?
I think there might be more. This is the only one I've seen.
If you include like the Alien versus Predator stuff, there's probably a lot more, but...
Which, kind of want to go back and watch that now.
Predator? Yeah, that one's good.
I haven't seen that one either. I don't know how I missed all that.
Oh, man.
Stop coughing.
Sorry.
How dare you? Do I need to get one of those like X-ray things and like look at you're like, what is that growing? What is that? It's ironic because you're literally wearing a spider shirt that kind of looks like the baby
the parasite
stingray looking one.
Yeah, those are creepy too.
Those ones I think were scarier
than the actual alien.
Absolutely.
I thought that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into it. What about clear plot? Yeah, I think so.
It's very direct.
It's one of those like thriller movies, and so it starts with, hey, we're trying to go someplace new, and it quickly turns into, we're just trying to get out of here.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you start off with kids basically in a death trap mine, and they want a way out. They are going to go smuggle some supplies from a derelict spacecraft.
Yep.
And
turns out derelict spacecraft
are derelict for a reason.
Yep. Turns out there are aliens on there.
Yeah. And next time you see a car broken down on the highway, maybe don't stop.
Yeah.
Well, unless you do. Like, you know what? You do you. Your conscience, but you gotta live with the consequences, just like only one person does in this movie.
Yeah. Live with the consequences, that is.
Yeah. They all had them. Only one gets to live with them. I guess that was a huge spoiler. But I mean, and then then they just got to survive.
Yep. So
I will. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a decent plot. It's just you know what you're coming into.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
If you know it's a thriller, you know it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know it's going to end up being we're just trying to survive the monster. Then.
Yeah, it's like Jaws.
Yeah.
Or The Thing.
Yep.
Or like it's just.
Yeah, Jaws is a good. Well, Jaws is a little bit different because the monster comes to them.
Sure,
whereas
or
they release the monster.
The one where they have the people in the cage and the wire breaks and the cage falls to the bottom of the ocean.
Is that the 47 meters?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It's just one of those things where you go a place you shouldn't go, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is why I shouldn't go there. Oh
yeah, there's consequences.
Can I get out?
Yeah.
It's just a horror movie.
Yep.
This one's just set in space.
Yep. Which I'll have more to talk about with character arc and engaging characters because...
Really?
I just... Horror movies bother me, not because of the
in
horror
their character
part.
development?
Yeah, because there is none, usually, and people are just completely stupid.
Yeah, you have a character that you hope dies.
Yes.
Which they have that.
Yeah.
You have a character you feel bad for that's probably going to die.
Yep, and they have that too.
You have a character you don't want to die, and they're probably going to die.
Yep.
And then you have the most bland character that will survive.
Yep, exactly. And that's like all of them. But that's part of the genre, and I get that.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are like, that's staple. That's consistent.
Yeah, that is a trope.
That's what we're looking for. Exactly. That's a trope.
And we're not saying it's bad per se.
No, you want to know what you're getting into. Well, I am going to argue that it's a little bit bad, but yeah.
Well, it's definitely not going to be like the greatest story. This is not the end of the podcast.
Exactly.
But I mean, it was, this is the first genuinely scary movie I think we've reviewed.
We've covered, yeah. I think that's
I think the most scary medium we've done yet.
Yeah, definitely.
There have been like little spits and spats of things from time to time, but
yeah. So what about character arc?
Rain,
I
think Rain does
a little bit. Yeah,
I think Tyler does.
In what way?
Maybe
I don't.
He might just be caricature.
He
like
actually really
hero man across the board.
Yeah, but he's not. He's actually a loser.
Yeah, when he gets the gun and she's like, how do you know how to use this? And you think he's going to be like, I served 5 tours on Mars or something like that. And he's like, I read comics and video games and stuff. I'm like,
I subscribe to Space Guns Weekly.
Yeah, I listened to the Greatest Story podcast, and they talked about a war movie once. And you're like, wait a second.
You're like, wait a second.
That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Next time on Back to the Future. Oh,
we could cover Back to the Future.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So, you mentioned Rain, who's kind of like the main character.
Andy. But then...
So, Andy is interesting. Because he's not human.
But he is a character.
He is synthetic.
We've talked about animals before that have character arcs. Right. So I think we have to include Andy.
Oh, definitely. So the question is, like, what is his character
arc? I think... So, I guess we have to give some explanation here. Andy is a synthetic human.
Yep.
Which basically is just an android.
He's like a robot. Yep.
But he's a very realistic one, and... The AI is sophisticated enough to have emotions.
Yep.
Which our AI actually. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that.
Yep.
But they have these personality discs, like
basically they
they're
talk about them like
dated
program,
USB type things.
Yeah.
Well, so they get in a situation where for the humans to survive, they want to upgrade Andy.
Yeah. So they take an old one from a destroyed robot. And put it in Andy.
And I guess Andy, when you meet him, he is like his memory chip's corrupted or something.
He's basically he's an old unit that was rebuilt
for the explicit purpose of helping Rain.
Exactly.
Because her parents died.
But he doesn't have all the equipment and the processing and
yeah, and so she ends up taking care of him.
Yep.
And like they make several points to show how fragile he is.
Yeah.
Like some teenager punks knock him down.
Beat him up. And
he shuts down. Hard shuts down.
He's got to be like reset. Yeah.
And I mean that happens like 3 or 4 times in the movie. Anyways, but the arc is so he gets this new chip. He becomes powerful, still fragile.
Yep.
Which is an interesting juxtaposition where he has authority. He has the ability to predict stuff, like he's grabbing.
Yep. His processing power is increased. His security over the derelict ship is increased, but his overall strength and fragility stays the same. So
because he was strong to begin with.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't fast.
Yeah.
Now he's fast and strong. He's still weak.
Yep.
In the sense of fragile.
He can't take hits.
Yeah. But I guess it's just interesting because. They put him in the circumstance for their survival, and then it's just an interesting dialogue because then they want to remove it because it also is counter to their survival as well later because he ends up prioritizing what he was built to prioritize.
Right. So because with the upgrade comes an upgrade in his prime directive.
Yeah, which is it goes from
do what's best for Rain to do what's best for the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, it gets to the point where he has to choose if he's going to help Rain survive or not, and he allows her to put the new chip back in.
Yep.
Or the old one back in.
So he loses all that processing power. He loses that extra speed and authority and things like that.
Granted, Rain gives him the opportunity to logically say yes, but I still think the point isn't. It's the fact that he says yes in general.
Yeah.
But then it ends with him getting a new directive.
Right.
And so, it's a
And
That's an
I
arc.
think that's the character arc is.
For Rain or for Andy?
Well,
or
I
for
think
both?
it's both. I think it's both because it becomes, right?
It's do what's best for
Rain
us.
is doing what's best for me. Andy is doing what's best for Rain. And then at the end, it's do what's best for us.
Yeah, so there's more familial. Because they sorry.
Because they're like brother and sister.
They act like this is her brother.
Yeah.
It would just, yeah.
So
I guess
but
Andy's...
that's it. I would argue that those are the only two.
Yeah, because Rain is
all
pretty
terrible.
Rain is pretty bland.
Yep.
I mean,
And
the rest are just irresponsible.
The others do not change.
Well, they're characters, like we said. Like Navarro is just there to get the ball rolling.
Yep, pilot.
Or to get the egg hatched, or whichever way you want to look at it.
Yep.
But she's selfish.
Yep.
And kind of a coward.
Yes, definitely.
Then you have Bjorn,
who's just
who's
a jerk.
angry.
Yeah.
And they gave him a reason to be angry.
Sure.
But still.
Yeah. It's trauma. Mom dies, but
Well, they die because
I know synthetic
Yeah.
makes a choice to kill some humans to save others, but
yeah. So
that's basically just the plot of iRobot. So
that is true,
which is a better movie, but
that's fair.
if you want to see us do
We'll
iRobot, yeah, I'll do that one for free. Just have one person comment.
We do all of this for free. Then who else? So it's Bjorn. There's Tyler. That's just Action Man.
Yeah, he wants to be cool, but
and he has moments.
I think he's a little bit arrogant. Is the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think he thinks he's better than he is.
Sure.
Because then when
I think he learns that the hard way.
Yeah, when push comes to shove, he makes the worst choices.
Yeah, and then then you have Kay, who's pregnant and reckless.
Yep,
which is annoying.
Yep.
And I think that's the whole crew, right?
Yeah.
And then there's just Rain, who we've already talked about the me to us. So there's selfless-ish, or more, I guess, just gravitating from selfishness to, hey, I need to look out for my family, not just myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess that really is it.
Yep. What about clear ethical lesson? So this is
I think there's a couple.
Okay, yeah. What do you have? So I am not
we got the evolution piece, like don't play God.
Yeah, don't play God, and that comes in because this space station was basically, so this is like the only main takeover from the original Alien movie is the space station discovers the body of the alien.
Oh, is that where they got all of this stuff from?
Yeah. So they find the body floating in space of the original alien. They bring it on board. Turns out, it's still alive. So then they have to kill it. But in the process of killing it, it damages the space station and hatches all these little baby parasite things.
Well, they were like growing them, too.
Yeah, so they keep them and put them on ice in order to basically use their blood to create DNA, like a DNA serum.
Because they said they created the deadliest poison.
Yes.
But then with synthetic, we made it life.
Exactly. So, classic, it's really, really bad, but, we can make it good.
We can make this weapon into a good thing.
Yeah, it'll be good. But their goal is to basically make humanity perfect, right?
Yeah.
So they talk a lot about how humanity is very fragile. Yeah. Right, prone to emotions, weak when it comes to sicknesses, ill-equipped for space travel and colonization. Right, all of these things.
Not great endurance.
Yep, not great endurance. And so the company wants to perfect humanity by making them
humanity is in due of a much-needed upgrade.
Exactly, and so they want to give everybody some venom juice.
That's actually good. Yeah. Because it's like inky.
It is.
It looks like Venom from Marvel.
Like Venom. Yeah. So they want to give him some Venom juice to upgrade. The problem is the tests are not complete, and the rat
Humans have 25% DNA similarity with rats.
Yeah, so there's a chance it works, But then, also the rat got blown up by the inky stuff.
Yeah, but they didn't see it. Only the viewer gets to see that.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of foreshadowing.
It gives you some more... There's a lot of foreshadowing.
Ton of foreshadowing. Which part is done well. Good. Yeah, that part is done well.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked... This is just I was reflecting on this. I think it's interesting that there are so many stories where the punchline is, you're not God, stop trying to be God.
Yep.
So many stories.
Yeah.
And whether this is more or not more about it, it's still, that's the main takeaway for me is like, you are the way you are for a reason. Stop trying to fake alter it.
Yeah.
Because you might end up creating something worse than what you already have.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. And that's a big point. I think also there's to some extent the idea that people matter.
Oh, yeah.
So that, because there's this constant back and forth, like, do we help this person? Do we not help this person? Yeah. Do we look out for ourselves?
The stakes are very high.
Yeah, and there are probably 6 or 7 different situations where there's a decision
that has to be made.
Do I help this person at risk of myself, or do I leave them behind and go and look out for me? And that culminates in the end with Rain and Andy, who have to work together to defeat the final monster. So,
which I think, like I've talked before about meaningless death. I'm okay with this movie and how they treat death, because like one, it's horrifying.
Yeah, one, it's bad. And like,
2,
drastic.
Everybody's trying to avert it.
Yes. And 3, like the deaths make sense.
Yeah, and they have impact.
It's not pointless.
And it's
few, really.
Yeah,
I mean, there's only
5
deaths.
4.
So 3, 2.
I was about to start singing Major Tom for some reason. I guess it would fit.
Well, let's see. There's Tyler, Kay, Navarra, and
Bjorn. It's just 4.
Is that the only ones who die?
4, yeah. Well, Andy. Does Andy die?
No.
I didn't catch that.
Well, technically, yes, but his processing disc is intact.
That's right. She saves his brain.
Yeah, so she's like, I'll fix you. So he is dead, but he can be fixed. That's the implication.
So they do also... is it worth mentioning for ethical lesson how Andy gets bullied in like the... strange allegory for racism in this?
Yeah, so that's definitely... There's a little kind of... Yeah, allegory would be probably the best. Or illusion, maybe. An illusion
so Andy's portrayed... This synthetic human's portrayed by an African-American man.
Yep. And he kind of, like we said, he's weaker...
Or I guess I don't know if he's an American, but an African descent man.
Right, yeah. I don't know if that really would make sense, because it's space, so...
I just meant the actor himself.
Right. So yeah, and he's again bullied, looked down upon.
Bjorn has
it out for him, and it's like the way they play it up is really like
comes off like an angry Reddit channel.
Yes, and it's like very much.
They want you to want Bjorn to die.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, I think.
And
so.
And they do They do a good job, because like he is extremely dislikable. Bjorn is
absolutely. Yeah.
Andy is very nice and gentle, very kind.
Just trying to look out for Rain.
You can see, like, the actor does a great job. His facial expressions.
Oh, he was the best actor in this whole movie.
When he registers sadness or something, like when he realizes.
David Johnson, I believe is his name.
Yeah,
and he was the best actor. In this
he did a great job.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the plot
then
points...
he switches, right?
Then he's cold and analytical. He's got to
be cold and analytical, very, very robot-like.
He goes from innocent and warm to cold and analytical.
And it's really, really well.
Well, and it's one of the poignant scenes is when Andy realizes that Rain was going to leave him behind, and it's because Bjorn's being a loudmouth and just being a jerk.
Yep. But you see, like, the hurt on his face.
And he looks at Rain, and Rain's, like, looking at the metal deck. Can't look him in the eye. Anyways, but like, is there? I don't know. I was having trouble discerning if it was just commentary on like racism or if it was a commentary on AI.
Yeah,
I had a hard time parsing that out.
Well, and I don't know if it's that clear. I think it's a lot of jumble combinations going into this idea of like people are important.
Yeah,
and that's but it. But I think
what classifies as a person is probably somewhere,
and that's up for debate because that's in there, but it's not really clear. It's not really wrapped up, right? Is Andy a person? He's a synthetic, but he acts human, and they talk about like, well, he's not really human, but then at the end, Rain is like, well, you are my brother.
And then he's also the most human out of all of them.
Right. Like, if I want to be like anyone, I want to be like Andy, not like the others.
He's not willing to sacrifice anyone until they're willing to sacrifice him to get what they want.
Yep.
So it's poetic. It rhymes.
Yep. So
what's this is going to feel like a curveball. The movie The Creator by Gareth Edwards. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
The guy who made Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is like what really classifies as a human because
that's good. Yeah.
There's a war between like AI synthetics and humans and anyways, that's if you want us to do The Creator.
I'd be interested.
It's an interesting movie.
Yeah, I'll have to
hop in the Discord and comment it up.
Let us know. Yeah, so my issue with the ethical lesson is I think there are some. Like
we just touched toes.
Yeah.
Just for all the listeners to know, I rotated in my chair. We locked eyes. It was a great moment.
Okay. But I just find that there are other stories that do the whole people matter better.
Like
and that's
Lord of the Rings.
Like Lord of the Rings. There was even one that
Wars.
Star Wars does it really well. We talked recently about Hercules, which was better. I'm trying to think what else. Inception a little bit. We touched on that a little bit. That was more like healing.
I don't know if that one qualifies for this.
Well, for like valuing people, like people matter.
Sure.
So I just find even some of the stories that we've talked about on this podcast already do that better, which is why ethical lesson is there for me, but it's nothing special. That makes sense.
I think this does it well, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's clear. I didn't walk away thinking, oh, humans are bad, or life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I didn't walk away thinking, all those people deserve to die.
Right.
Like, I walked away saying, that was a scary movie.
Yeah. Well, I did kind of feel like that was a little bit of comeuppance, but...
Well, yeah, but, like, so, I guess, okay, it might be worth getting into how
But also,
Bjorn...
like, do they have a choice, right? Because it's obvious that the company, and this kind of gets into Captivating World for me, but, like, do they have a choice because the company is very much, like, enslaving them, basically, and there is no chance at a better life unless
they take this crazy risk.
Yep. So...
But, I mean... I guess the deaths are so, like, intense that you're like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, even if Bjorn's a jerk, like, so... In this world building,
to be melted by acid.
Yeah,
that's
so in
terrible.
in this world, the alien's blood is acidic, like it melts steel beams, kind of acid, and that's how Bjorn dies. Is it drips on him?
Yeah.
And he that was a tough scene.
Yeah.
Which is, he was making fun of the synthetic that was melted, so it is poetic.
It is poetic.
Say what you will. Maybe it doesn't have the great ethical lessons, but, like, it is an artistic...
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of thought put into the movie, I think.
Absolutely.
And how it was made.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think that's the only real... Because, really, that's the only dialogue. The rest of it's a lot of running and a lot of hiding and a lot of screaming. So,
yep. What about clear conflict and resolution?
No.
I
gotta, because they literally ended on a cliffhanger. Like, you don't know.
They
what
don't make
happens.
it to the planet.
Maybe I stopped watching. Because they go the brain gets in.
They don't make it. Yeah, they have to start the journey again.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah,
I thought you meant like in the end credits, the ship explodes or something like that.
Oh, no.
So the very ending...
it ends with, like, the ship being all beaten up and broken, and she puts it on autopilot.
And she gets she hops in the cryopod. So literally the movie... And it is just... There are resolutions that are just all terrible.
Yeah.
Like the pregnant lady... Oh, I don't even... God, we haven't even... Wow. How are we going to tackle that one?
I was going to probably put that in.
Captivating World? Relatable character?
Yeah.
Everybody...
I was going to talk about it a little bit in characters because it's kind of a villain. I always talk about villains and engaging in relatable
And it is a scary villain.
Yeah.
There is resolution. It's just sad. And then the ultimate
so much resolution. Of the resolution is just we killed the monster.
Yeah.
Which is...
Did you? And then it's always like, did you though?
Yeah.
Especially you really?
Especially in these types of stories where it's like, it always comes back.
I guess
the beginning of the movie literally said that it was floating in space for who knows how long and it was still alive. So
yeah, and I guess there's also like the resolution. The space station was clearly destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was resolved and that was a cool way. That was an epic way.
I was going to talk about that in consistency.
All right, then I'll save it.
But I did like that.
That was cool.
The way they did that.
Yeah. I guess we can move on then.
Yeah,
this
it's just
not
that great.
satisfactory.
Yeah, it's not very,
Which,
very good. But again,
the point of the movie is to be unsatisfactory.
and to be scared. I mean,
so like they did the assignment.
Yes. It's again, you know what you're getting into in this type of genre.
Yeah.
You're not looking for a nice conclusion. You're looking for a whole bunch of scary times and people dying and...
You watch Alien for, like, lore and spooks.
Yep.
Like, you don't watch it because you're like, what a great, riveting tale of heroism.
Yeah, exactly.
You watch it because you want to watch people try to figure out how to survive in space with a predator on board.
Yep. But an alien, not a predator. That's a different series.
That's so true. That's good. That's good.
A xenomorph is the word you're looking for.
Yes.
That's its official name.
That's right.
I just call it Egghead.
It does look goofy.
Doesn't it? The teeth make it scarier. And like,
but it looks like it's like smiling.
So this is going to be a callback because we just did the Monsters Inc. episode.
Sure.
But did you see the Monsters Inc. reference to Alien?
No.
In Harryhausen's, when they are eating the Chinese, and the one monster goes to take a bite of food, a tongue with the eyes.
It comes out. Yeah.
Comes out and eats it, and it's like,
right.
That's delicious. And if you're familiar with the xenomorph, it has a mouth inside its mouth that like reaches out and
punches people.
Yeah. Yep. So that was a reference to Alien.
Yeah,
but a nice alien.
I have stuff to say about that in Captivating World.
Yeah.
Because it's like the invasiveness of all that that's really spooky.
Yeah.
But that's Captivating World.
Yeah, parasites are scary, bro.
Yeah.
Parasites.
Engaging, relatable characters.
We've all got parasites. Okay.
I'm riddled.
Good. Do you know what I was referencing?
I was referencing The Hobbit.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay.
That's what I was referencing. Okay, cool. So engaging and relatable characters.
I think so. Like Rain.
So relatable in the trope sense for me.
Yeah.
Because they fit the foolish characters who make bad choices and face the consequences and have to escape from the monster. Classic horror and suspense vibe. And then Andy is a really compelling character to me, especially with his change and the kind of warm and compassionate versus cold and analytical. But I don't find the other characters engaging.
So I guess there's a couple.
Like to me,
I will definitely argue
means to an end for me.
I think Rain and Kay, I'll make an argument for. Is Tyler? Do you think they were hinting that Tyler is the dad for Kay?
They're supposed to be brother and sister. So
are they? All right, I missed that part. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, that's still like, his sister's pregnant and he figures that out in this death trap.
Yeah.
So I think there's some relatableness where like Kay's character is pregnant. She doesn't want anybody to know because she's afraid she'll get booted off the team. And if she's booted off the team, then her child will not be able to see the sun, I think is the direct line. So like, that's pretty relatable. Like she's willing to take a risk for her kid.
Yeah.
And I think Rain with the...
Sure, I get that. Like mom wanting to do something for a better future. Yeah.
The dynamic with Rain and Andy, I think, it's definitely more in Andy's court, but I think it makes Rain a more relatable character because she, like, you're watching this agony where she has to go back and forth of, do I see Andy as my brother? Do I not? I have this character over here telling me he's just a robot.
Yeah. I guess I could see that, because there's even, like, the whole dad joke thing.
Yeah.
Where Rain, like, the dad jokes are, like, a symbol of Andy's kind of compassion and relationship. And so at the beginning, she doesn't like the dad jokes.
But by the end, she's like, hey, can you tell me some dad... And that was a touching scene.
Yeah.
So I think they're relatable. And I think one of the like, to go back to Inception, one of the like spinning top ways I kind of test this is if I feel something when a character dies, that means they must have been relatable to me in some way.
That's fair, but I didn't really feel anything.
I felt something at least.
I felt sad for the way Kay dies, but I didn't feel.
Yeah. I felt more for most of the characters.
Okay, maybe you're just more compassionate than I am.
You heard it here first, folks.
I was kind of like, you guys brought this on yourself.
Well, I mean, like, but you got to go back to like keeping it in context. Like, they're gonna die in the mines, and they're like all teenagers, basically. So, like, what else would you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, it's like the classic.
I mean, I wouldn't go around pulling random things off of a spaceship that I know nothing about.
All right, hang on. In Les Mis, when Hugh Jackman's character steals bread and gets thrown in jail,
sure,
would you have stolen bread to feed your starving family?
See, it's a hard one. You know. Because,
no way.
Hey. You know, if you feel like you got
do you feel bad for Hugh Jackman?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, I feel bad, but Hugh Jackman is...
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
Well, that's just bias.
Yeah, it probably is. And
you need to pull up on the throttle.
He also flips at the end.
Sure.
These guys don't flip. These guys are
they don't get the
selfish
chance.
and leaving each other behind.
They didn't have but...
Hugh Jackman finds God, okay? So...
And I'm sure Rain did too by the end.
I don't know. I think there's too much trauma there.
Hugh Jackman had a lot. Anyway.
Hugh Jackman.
Anyways, I think the premise is the same, so I feel bad for. I think the two that I would say like no, you probably
Navarro.
You got some karma. Bjorn. Yeah, it would be Navarro and Bjorn. Yeah. Because like they literally ignore everybody's advice.
Everyone.
And they
ignore everyone.
And they
literally try to leave everyone behind.
They also get Kay killed because Kay does actually stay on the ship. So like they're the two where I'm like, you chose selfishness.
Yep.
You didn't listen to anyone. You weren't willing to try anything.
Yep.
And you're both jerks.
Yep.
And so, those two. But I think the rest of the team, like Kay, Tyler, and Rain, and Andy, I think they're pretty relatable and engaging. I'm not saying it's S tier. I'm just saying like it's at least a C for me.
Okay. I could see that potentially.
Yeah.
What about villains? So we got the xenomorph, and then the big spoiler, or not, spoiler, but more of like twist at the end, which I knew something was going to happen because
you don't put a pregnant lady in a horror movie for nothing.
Exactly. You know something's going to happen. Either like Quiet Place, where she has to give birth in complete silence.
That's kind of what I thought was going to happen at first.
That, yeah. Well, when they introduced the
DNA thing?
Yeah, the venom juice. I was like, she's going to take that, or someone's going to give it. And then at first they were like, we got to give it to her. And Rain's like, yeah, that seems like a bad idea. And I was like, okay, maybe we're going to avoid that.
And then Kay does it to herself.
And then she does it to herself. And I was like, oh, the cheap way. You're trying to take the easy way.
But that's hard, because is it cheap, or does she know, like, she's dying, and if she dies, her baby dies? And it's an act of desperation.
It is creepy, scary alien juice when you could just get into the cryopod and have actual medical help. They literally say...
I guess I felt like she was going to die before she got to the cryopod.
Well, I guess that's what she felt too. But that's not what Andy said. And Andy had all his logical... That was when he
that was also when he was, like, company man mode.
Yeah, but he's also statistical, and, I don't know. It's hard, but anyway...
He didn't say you're going to make it. He said, like...
There's a chance.
If you go now.
There's a chance, yeah.
So that means, like, the chance could have ellipsed.
Yeah, sure, for sure. But I'm just saying, if I find some alien goop...
Oh, I'm not saying it's a great decision.
Yeah, I'm not taking it.
So what happens? She takes the alien goop,
yeah,
and then
what I thought was going to happen was maybe it would, like, cause her to explode like the rat, but instead, her baby turns into an alien, like, hybrid.
And it is creepy.
It is creepy.
It is some
It's like 7 feet tall, and it's kind of like the alien, but it also looks like a pale...
You remember Slender Man?
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
It's like a naked Slender Man.
Yeah, real creepy.
It's got that smile, too.
Yes, because it's got, like, human teeth, but also...
They're sharp,
They're, like, jagged. Yeah.
I mean, it's just nightmare fuel. They swung for the fences with the, like, how can we... Like, it's got... orifices in its back. It's got like the throat punch thing that the alien has.
Yep. It's terrifying. So it kills Kay, kills its own mom, and then and then tries to go after Rain and Andy.
Because at first I was curious if like they were gonna do this thing where it had sentience.
Yeah.
And it was gonna actually help save them.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if maybe they were gonna do like this is a hint for the future. Like maybe this is a new species.
I was like maybe like I had like this brief moment. I'm like, well, maybe like this is supposed to subvert our expectations, where you see it and you're like, this thing's obviously evil.
But then it's like, oh, it's more human than alien.
I was wondering if they're going to do...
completely
it is
animalistic monster. Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yep.
It did horrifying things.
Yep.
It was brutal.
But, you know, it got ejected into space.
It got eviscerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then, you know, this thing's hovering over the asteroid belt of a planetoid.
Yep.
And the station's slowly falling into...
And getting destroyed in the asteroid belt. Yeah, which brings us to Captivating World. And that's where I want to talk about that, because I love the countdown.
Oh, I'm glad you say that, because it literally takes, like, they say you have 49 minutes.
And there was that much
the
left
movie
in
has,
the movie.
like, 55 minutes.
Yep, and you're like, oh, this is really well done. Yeah, actually, when they said you have 49 minutes left, I paused it, and I checked.
And I did, too.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way.
And I was like, that's really good storytelling if that's the case. And I was like, oh, that's pretty close. I was like, wow,
that's why
that is cool. Yeah.
I don't think a horror story will ever be the best story.
Sure, but I would say
think this is a pretty good horror movie.
This is probably one of the best horror stories.
This is definitely the best we've reviewed so far. All one of them.
But you know what? It's number one.
It's number one.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that. I think that was brilliant. I think they do a great job with the company, showing like how bad everything is. They kind of give you the like grunge space vibe. Where everything's dirty, everything is kind of
just
broken, depressing. They even do, I thought it was a great scene where she was like, okay, I get to go free now. And they were like, oh, well, actually, your required hours just changed. And they literally change it right in front of her. And it's like, you're still basically a slave, right? And so I think that was good storytelling to kind of build our understanding of the world without just coming out and telling us.
I think...
Right, it was a show, not tell moment.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate those.
Yeah, the movie doesn't treat you like you're stupid.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I mean, I just like the setting.
Yep.
Right, like
the music
space
is really good.
Like the two settings that are the scariest will always be the ocean and outer space.
That's because they're the same. So
they're
the deep and the unknown, and
yes, the deep psyche reason that they're scary is the same, but like they're also alien. They're harsh, unforgiving.
Right.
And okay, fine.
They're the same.
They're not the same.
In every Star Trek, Star Wars, when you go in space, it's like you're going on the ocean. Yes. Starships are all boats.
But that's allegorical. That's not like one for oneness. It has to do with the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it makes you feel the same.
Well,
it's all the same fears.
You don't hop in the ocean and spontaneously combust.
Yeah, well...
You get into space without a spacesuit, you spontaneously combust.
If you go in the ocean too deep, you spontaneously crush.
You have sure. So if we flip the ocean on its head,
see,
it's not the same.
Well, then it's the sky if you flip it on its head.
Oh my gosh! I think you know that you're losing ground, and so now you're throwing the sky into it.
You know what's losing ground?
Anakin?
No, the beach.
Whatever. Anyways, space and oceans are great. Like the only two horror movies I really will want to watch in my own volition is it's either set in space or the ocean.
Yeah, like Moby Dick.
Sure, definitely not Megalodon.
Oh yeah, Megalodon. That's I would not mind doing that one. It's
I don't actually think I've seen Megalodon, but it was a trailer in a theater once that I saw and was like, that looks interesting.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I have seen Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws is good. Jaws is good.
Anyways, or Antarctica is also scary. I'll throw that out there too.
Sure.
Same reason. It's all the same.
I mean, Antarctica is made of
it's
what?
Water.
It's
just like outer space is made of water.
And outer space is cold. Antarctica is cold water. There you go. It's both of them combined.
Anyways, but like the space
aliens,
station,
you have polar bears and seals.
Just stop. The derelict space station, they do a good job of making it look spooky.
Yeah, look old, look broken down.
I really thought the lighting was well done because they get to do their dramatic effects, but it doesn't break the world.
Yes.
Because they're doing strobe lights, but it's like emergency lights flickering on and off. Or
there's random buzzers.
Yeah. And so like sometimes the metal creaking sounds like the aliens clicking, like his chitinous skin or scales, whatever. You can't tell.
Yep.
You get like that strobe light effect where you get like the after image and you're not sure what exactly is happening, but something is. So like, I thought the lighting was well done. I mean, it's just like cargo houses and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the world building, not the world building, the setting is probably the best, the highest thing running in its favor in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's well done in that regard.
Yeah.
What about consistency?
We failed to talk about Captivating World and the aliens themselves. Or does it fit in consistency?
Talk about, what do you mean, like the aliens themselves?
Just like
the parasites? Or
yeah, how...
We can talk about that in either one. Sure, let's...
So, like,
what did you want to say? Yeah.
I mean, the reason they're scary to me... Like, we've seen, like... So, we talked about Monsters, Inc. last time. Desensitized children.
Yeah.
Things eating things is not the most scary anymore.
Right.
But something invading your organs, that's horrifying.
Yeah. Right, because that's how... I mean, the parasites, they don't try and kill you. They try and implant eggs in you, and then
they take eggs, over your lungs and heart.
Yeah, the eggs quickly like metabolize and are birthed, and then destroy your body.
And they implant they throat punch your mouth and send tentacles down into your guts.
Yep.
And like that is
terrifying.
Like Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
Yep.
You know, like the little earbugs.
Yep.
Scariest thing. I to this day do not want to watch that.
Oh, that's the best Star Trek movie.
Oh, yeah, it is. But that scene alone is like
scary.
a deterrent to me. Because I'm like, I watched it when I was 12.
That's
I cannot get that scene out of my head.
Yep.
Because it was just the idea of something crawling inside of you and taking like over is just it's
terrifying. Yeah, it's terrifying.
And so I think that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Like all of the aliens have that feature. Yeah. That was mostly it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, again, I think as scary as the alien is, the xenomorph.
The baby aliens are scarier.
The parasites are scarier. Yeah. And then the crazy morphed hybrid alien baby is the most scary.
Yeah. But I think it only barely trumps it. I think it's because the like, what'd you call it?
The parasites?
The parasite ones are so mindless.
Yeah.
I think there's something about that's even spookier.
Yeah, because they only have one goal. They're just trying.
And they just fling themselves, and it's like they spread out and they're like fleshy. It's just wet.
Yeah,
gross.
Yep, like evil octopi.
Oh yeah,
they're easy. They're even in the water.
Yeah, and they look like stingrays.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going on.
We both just did chills right there.
I'm going on vacation to an oceanic place soon, and if I'm going to see a stingray, it's going to freak me out.
You know, Josh, the ocean is a dangerous place.
Yeah. Well, good news is I'm only going to about 5 feet.
Well, that's good.
I always leave a foot.
Yeah, that's good.
I know. See, now something's going to touch my leg. I'm going to think of this podcast.
I'm going to go to the ocean and put on some goggles and just swim by and touch your foot.
You're going to get some synthetic I'm
going to just come with like a tentacle outfit.
Just get a water hose and lasso my leg. I'd kill you.
So if you don't hear any more episodes,
then you know it's why we both drowned somewhere in the Atlantic. Anyways,
anything else for consistency?
We've already covered the company, the desperate situations.
Part of the issue for me with consistency, which is why I wouldn't give it higher, is because, and I know it's the genre, but just the series of bad choices is just so annoying to me.
They're also clearly teenagers. They're very young. At the most, they're in their 20s.
It's the classic, let's hide from the slasher in the
shower.
Or in the garage full of chainsaws.
Like that one, was it a Geico commercial?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like, where are we going to hide? Obviously in the shed with all the sharp objects.
Yes, exactly. It's and I think even their tagline is if you're in a horror movie, you make bad decisions. If you're wanting to save money on insurance, go with Geico or something that, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I know it's part of the trope, and I know it's part of the genre, but it still breaks consistency for me, because I'm like, come on.
You're really going to inject the alien roids into yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Or how do they heat up they pull the cryopods
that's another one,
out.
Right? You're on a derelict space station.
And you see these fossilized alien
Yeah, it's not like those were hidden.
Sacks.
They were all on display.
And they're like, what are these?
Yeah.
And like you see, like they come in,
they start melting and they start thawing, and you're like, maybe you should not take out the frozen cryo fuel.
Or
like,
Navarro gets like hit in the face with the tentacle thingy, and Rook, the bad automaton guy's like, oh yeah, you need to take her out.
Yeah,
this is gonna get bad.
Yeah,
and they're like,
no.
Well, it's just Bjorn. Like everybody else is gonna like, okay, like what can we do?
Yeah,
there's got to be a solution. We have to do our best to save her. And Bjorn's like, nah, and then the two take off running.
Yeah.
So
But
I think the lowest thing in consistency for me is like you could honestly change just a couple visuals and this becomes a Star Wars movie. Or this becomes a Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Like there's, I guess it's not super fair because like you could say the same for Star Wars or Star Trek.
Sure.
You change some aesthetics and it's essentially the same. So that's unfair of me.
Well, space travel. All space travel stuff has a similar vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what's the show on Amazon?
Firefly. Just kidding.
No,
I'd review Firefly.
That's a good one. No, it's got like 5 seasons.
It's a book series.
Yeah, and it's all about like modern
and
kind
it's
of
like
space.
Mars.
Yeah, and
versus...
they go all over. They do the colonization thing. I've watched some.
I've wanted to read the books.
It's
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I had a hard time with the TV show.
Yeah, there's the main characters, but they have the whole like space pirates versus like mining companies versus colonial empires and
it's like who's really like the real humans.
Yeah, because there's robots in that one too. Man, I cannot remember the name.
Well, there's
of that
also
one,
like the people that terraform Mars look different.
Yep.
The people that are like the farther out you get, and then they get taller and their bones are less dense.
Yep.
And gravity like kills them.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, what is it called? Isn't the author named James Cameron?
That might be true. I am literally
is James Cameron the guy who did Avatar, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not James Cameron.
Space station.
All right, I guess we're gonna have to look it up.
No, we'll have to bring.
All right, whatever. We'll move on.
We'll have to let editing Zach.
Just we haven't had a silly gorilla moment.
Yeah.
Somebody just jump on the Discord, be like, obviously
it's Expanse. Nailed it.
Good job.
First try.
Oh man.
I just gotta wait. I have so much random useless knowledge in the back of my mind that I just have to think for a little bit.
Do I want to know how to do taxes, or do I want to remember this sci-fi franchise?
That's what AI is for.
Hey, ChatGPT, do you know how to read a W-2? You want to talk about something really scary? Taxes. Not Texas, but I don't know, maybe. Anyway, so consistency's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah,
all that to say,
right.
the TLDR is it's aight.
Yeah, it's aight. So with that, what do you think?
It's at least a C.
Okay, I'm like D plus or C minus.
So you want to meet me at just C average?
I can go C average.
I think it's just C average.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a good C average. Like, it's something I would watch.
Again, there are things that they do really, really well, and as far as horror movies go, it's the best one that we've reviewed, but it's also very good. It's just good as far as horror movies go. So if that's your thing, then you should definitely check this one out.
If you're 10, we talked a lot about taking good advice.
It is R for a reason.
I'm just saying, if you're a young one, like in middle school or younger, maybe even high school, and you just heard us talking about how these young people didn't take advice, you could go watch this movie and find out for yourself.
And take some advice.
Or you could take our advice and not.
Yep.
Hey, I'm not responsible for your nightmares, though.
That's true.
Am I?
Always watching.
Mike Wazowski. Anyways, so I think that's it, yeah?
Yep, I think so. With that, we want to just remind you to subscribe and join us on Patreon. You can be a free member, or you can donate to us and get access to some more bonus content there. Mm-hmm. And also get access to the Discord as a Patreon, either as a Pathfinder, a free member, or one of our Pathfinder paid tiers. You can get access to the Discord and join our community there. Well, anything else, Josh?
I just have an impulse to say yippee-ki-yay, and I don't really know why.
That's not. I mean, it fits the vibe. It's just different.
Yeah, that's all though.